platform should look like with the 7 currency pairs listed, only the 7 currency pairs listed in your market watch. The same exact currency pair should be listed at the bottom of your chart. You have your navigator that is right below your market watch, as well as the terminal that sits in the bottom of your market watch. One thing that we did not go over yesterday is here at the very bottom of your platform, you have where it says press F1 for help, default, and then of course on the right hand side it has blue and green bars with some numbers next to them. This is telling you how strong your connection is to the Trader's Way server. So if ever you see any other colors besides blue and green or red and yellow, or you see that these numbers are very, very low digit numbers, then that means that your connection to the server is pretty weak. And if you right click in the bottom of that, it will actually give you an opportunity to rescan the servers. And if you rescan the servers, then it will try and pick up one that's going to be a little bit stronger for you. And if you right click again, it'll pull it up and it'll show you exactly how quickly it is connecting. So if you find that if you find that data center 5 is not connecting very well, then try one of the other data centers. Usually it's not a problem, but just in case that does happen, you do have that there at the bottom. But this is what tells you what your connection status is. If ever there's something going on with your Metatrader 4 connection, down here in this box, it might say invalid, it might say error connecting, different things like that to let you know what's going on. And if you get any type of error whatsoever, if you click on your journal, remember we talked about all the tabs here on the bottom, but we only discussed the trade tab, the account history tab, as well as the mailbox tab, because that's where you can get your login and password. There's also a journal tab, and in that journal tab, it tells you everything that has happened with your Metatrader 4 software. It's going to show trades that you execute. It's going to show when you're actually logging in. If there was an unsuccessful ping of the server, it's going to show that as well. All of the activity once you connect and disconnect to the server is going to show up in this journal entry. So if by chance you get an error code anywhere, then you can always look to the journal and the journal will tell you exactly what is going on. So while I was showing you about the data centers and I rescanned the server, here it tells us that it had a better access to data center 3. I don't know, looks like it was originally connected to data center 5. Once I rescanned the servers, it automatically reconnected to data center 3. So all of that information you can always find in your journal. So sometimes when things go wrong, you'll get a message from me that says, have you checked your journal? Or look to see what the error is telling you within your journal, and then that will give you a little bit more information to be able to decipher what the issue or the problem might be that is directly going on with Metatrader. Remember, Trader's Way cannot help us with Metatrader at all. I have alerts going off from one of my other Metatrader 4 platforms. Let me move that. Trader's Way cannot help us at all with our downloaded MT4 on our accounts. So we would have to go to help within the MetaQuote software, do a Google search, go to YouTube to be able to find out how to fix something if it's not just a traditional or a common error, such as needing to log in with your master password or needing to just reset it, or logging out, logging back in, those types of simple things. If it's a little bit more than that, then definitely look at your PDF first to see if it's a quick fix. If not, go to Google, go to the MetaQuotes website, or go to YouTube to get that additional information. Trader's Way, if you call them, they'll put you on hold forever, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't know what to tell you. Your account's invalid. We never saw anything like that existed. And then it makes you really, really crazy. So don't even waste your time. Just check your PDF, ask Google or ask YouTube, and you'll get some pretty quick responses and typically a resolution. We haven't had a problem that hasn't been resolved, but that's not to say it can never happen, but we'll definitely be on the lookout for new. And whenever I do get a new problem, I always add it into that PDF so that we can kind of stay up to date with issues that happen. All right, so we have our chart. We have all of our screenshots. We have, excuse me, all of our charts listed on the bottom. We have our prices on the right-hand side of our chart. At the bottom of our chart, we have the date and timestamp. If we want to take a screenshot of our charts, we can go to File, Save as Picture. We can also right-click in the middle of the chart and click on Save as Picture. Make sure it always says Active Workspace before you click OK. If you're using a Mac computer, make sure that you're using the snippet tool in order to take an entire picture of everything that's on your screen from the top left-hand corner all the way to the bottom right-hand corner where it shows your connection status. For the purpose of our course, we are going to focus on labeling our charts, and with the labeling of our charts, we're going to be using the text label, which is the square with the capital letter T in the middle of it, and this is what we will use as our labeling tool. For our arrows, it is the tab that has a up arrow, a down arrow, and looks to me like a little check mark right in the middle. That is what we will use for our up arrows as well as our down arrows. And then, of course, we have our horizontal and our vertical lines, and that's exactly what they are in our toolbar. We have our horizontal line and we have our vertical line. Typically, we will just use our horizontal line. However, the vertical will come in handy as well. So if you are customizing your toolbar, make sure that you do not get rid of the vertical line. Also, make sure that whenever you do plot any objects on your chart, that you always lock them in. Otherwise, you can accidentally delete and they will disappear just like that. So those are the three main tools that we're actually going to attach to our charts from now until the end of university. We're also going to use our periods quite often. Typically, you're going to go from a daily chart, possibly 4 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, and 15-minute. So make sure that you know exactly where to find the time frame so that you can switch from chart to chart within your time frame. You might need to use the crosshair if you want to count pips like we talked about last evening. But that is typically rare at this stage. You'll get used to doing that more when you get into prep school and university, but that is definitely one that we need. And then, of course, for class today, we will be using the new order box. Once we get into prep school, we only execute trades using our one-click trading method, but for today, we will be using the order box for two purposes. One, executing trades, and the other is going to be to connect our MyFX book and our MT4 account as well. By clicking on the little triangle in the upper left-hand corner of your chart next to the currency pair name, you can also access your one-click trading. You can close it out whenever you're taking screenshots. If by chance you have any horizontal lines that would be covered up or any trade executions that would be covered up by the one-click trading box, make sure to always remove it and then take your screenshot so we can see your labels here on the left-hand side and the horizontal lines that you have placed as well. One other thing that I forgot to mention last night that is absolutely going to come into play over the course of the next couple of weeks when you are doing your final assignment, as well as tonight as well, is being able to, we learned how to move our chart this way, but we can also move our chart up and down. So there will be times where the vertical axis will need to be manipulated. For instance, if we were setting a take profit, and we'll do this here shortly, if we were setting a take profit that was 50 pips higher than where we are right now, that would require us to set a take profit at 108.88. And as you can see here, the chart only goes to 108.51. So in order for us to get that additional scale and the additional numbers, then we would have to adjust our vertical scale so that we can have the 88, which would fall somewhere in here for us to be able to set our take profit. When you're taking the screenshots of your trades, your entry, your take profit, and your stop loss has to be visible in every single one of your screenshots. So in order to do that, depending on if the market is at a high high or a high low, then you may have to adjust your scale vertically. So that's absolutely going to need to be done in some of our trading activity that we'll be doing today. Other than that, if you need to create a new demo account, you can always click on open an account and then go through the process of creating a new demo account. If you wanted to set up your Metatrader 4 on a different computer, you would download it and then you would use the login to trade account, and then of course log in with your login and your master password. The only way that you can execute trades is with your master password. So if ever you try to log in somewhere with your investor password, what will happen is the new order box will gray out and it will give you an error if ever you are trying to execute a trade. This software is good at giving you chimes and bongs and making really strange noises to let you know that there are things going on with your computer. There is a, if you actually go into the downloaded file that is within your C drive, you can look at all of the names of the different sounds that they have. Of course, they have one for mail, they have one for order entry, they have one for taking you out of the order, and you'll get to know these sounds just through trial and error and practicing in the charts. But if you wanted to go through and see exactly what sounds they have, then you could go through your C drive and see what that is. That is it in a nutshell as it relates to navigation and the things that we'll absolutely need